Hey there, happy Friday. How are you doing? So I wanted to come in here and have a quick chat with you and just kind of share a bit about the journey that I have been on. It's an up-leveling journey and it's required some level of surrendering. And so I thought it might be something that you can perhaps resonate with, relate to in some way. And maybe you're in a place that is not familiar to you and it feels distinctly uncomfortable. And so if that's where you're at, then this might just kind of give you some inspiration to not go into any kind of fear state. So essentially, just to backtrack a bit, I have been in for a few months now in a period of lack of clarity, for want of a better word of describing. Like, I have had zero clarity in my business specifically. So for the last 9 years or so, I have had crystal clarity and alignment with who I am, what I do, what is the problem that I solve, how I help my clients, who I help. All of that has felt bang on. And that's what I've been helping my clients to do, to get all of that alignment with their passion and their business completely on point so they can show up with real confidence and market themselves. And of course, with my background in sales, I've been coaching around sales, and that's been my thing. But more recently, I have started to fall off that alignment, like feeling it's not been feeling aligned, and it's felt slightly uncomfortable. And then more recently, in the last sort of few months, all clarity just went. I didn't know what I was supposed to be talking about. What was I still aligned with my ideal client, my original ideal client? All of this started to be called into question, and I had this like massive sense of blank. I don't know what to do. I don't know who I am or what I stand for anymore. And so, because this isn't my first rodeo, and I understand that, at every point there is an up leveling that needs to happen, we need to evolve. And in that process of evolution, there are parts where you are going to be in the dark, really in the dark, where you're kind of transitioning from one version of you to the next. And they call it sometimes dark night of the soul, where it can feel really painful when you've been through some healing and you're coming sort of emerging, but you're not yet at that next level. So mine wasn't quite like that, but it was this feeling of complete blank. And this time round, in the past, I would have panicked like crazy. I would have been backpedaling, what's wrong with me, and really starting to freak out. But because I kind of recognized, okay, this is okay. I'm welcoming this lack of clarity. I'm welcoming the fact that where I am is I'm kind of swimming in the great unknown, where there is no clarity, no certainty of everything, and it's unknown, which feels, to our sense of safety, it feels very threatening. It doesn't feel safe at all, because we like certainty. We like to know what we're doing and where we're heading, and we like to have a plan and all the steps laid out. But actually, being in the great unknown is a really powerful place to be. I remember reading, I think it was Deepak Chopra said something along the lines of, the unknown is the fertile soil of infinite possibility. And I remembered that, and I thought, this is where I'm at. I'm basking in the sea of infinite potentiality and possibility. So I surrendered to that. There were moments where I was like, oh, where is my clarity? But in the main, I surrendered to it, knowing that it's coming. I wasn't resisting it. I wasn't beating the drum of I'm stuck. I don't know what to talk about every day. I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't do any of that. I just surrendered, because when you beat the drum of I don't have clarity, I don't know what my messaging is, and all of that, you kind of get to keep that narrative because you're perpetuating it into your reality. So I made sure I wasn't doing any of that. I just kept remaining open and receptive to whatever it was that needed to come through me, whatever it was that I was literally, quite metaphorically, birthing. Quite metaphorically, quite literally, or metaphorically birthing. So so I was kind of like that. It was a couple of months, and finally, I had a conversation with my coach, and we started to hone this idea of combining what I'm doing, the passion that I have for acting, and this newfound passion. Really, it's how I can sort of integrate that with my business. And we sort of talked about, is it claim the stage and all these kind of things, and it just didn't resonate really. I felt excited initially, and then I thought that quite quickly afterwards, it's like, that is not it. That's not it. And what I recognized was the passion that I found, that pure kind of energy, that vitality, that aliveness that I feel when I am acting and when I'm in the theatre and when I'm learning and developing these new skills and putting myself outside of my comfort zone. That kind of experience found me as a result of the work I'd done up to that point. So it wasn't about finding my passion, it was about it found me after I'd cleared a lot of the stuff that was making that option outside of my consciousness. So I want to talk to you about some of the things that I now see in my clients and they're now presenting to me, that I have worked through and I'm now working with them on, that are complete upper limiting problems. That these things that are kind of, a lot of them slip under the radar, but they are absolutely so limiting to your business. And this is kind of my download when I had this complete realization where I suddenly recognized, I know the problem I solve, I know who I do it for, I know why I do it, I know what my messaging is. Suddenly it was like whoosh, all came through me about 10 days ago. And since that 10 days I've been prolifically journaling. This is my beautiful journal, and writing my next program, so it feels really clear and aligned and enriching and exciting. So I'm there just kind of honing it and turning it into an actual program that will deliver the most value that I can possibly deliver. So, but I want to just talk about some of these upper limits, because they may resonate with you. You may recognize yourself in some of these. And I want to say to you that, all of these come from a place of my experience, my knowing, my own work that I had to do. But just in brief, qualities that will block you from your next level of authenticity. So this is about feeling safe to express yourself. That's the core of this all. Feeling fully, freely able to express yourself authentically and feel safe to do that. That's really, really important. But what makes us feel unsafe to express ourselves fully? Well, there's all the fear-based patterning and the paradigms and the past restrictions and fears that we learn and we picked up along our life journey that made it feel unsafe to express ourselves. So how this shows up, and this is where you may recognize some of your own limiting patterns, how this shows up is, for example, fawning, people pleasing, for want of a better word, that need for external validation and approval to feel safe. So what we do is we behave in certain ways. I always do like this, because it's like we're playing chess with everyone around us in our lives. Like, if I do this and I behave myself and I be nice and I say this correctly and I don't offend or upset, or I don't say no yes when I don't say no when I mean, I say yes when I mean no. Trying to get that out. All these things that we do, it's like that whole people pleasing pattern is so freaking limiting, because it is not you honoring your truth, honoring yourself, honoring what you want, your desires. And it's insidious, because we were taught we need to be a good girl in order to feel safe, to be approved of, obviously all on an unconscious level. Another pattern is the need for control, the need to have control. And this manifests for a lot of hyperachievers as, I need a plan, I need a strategy, I need a schedule that is going to keep me kind of locked into this way of being. If I have more control, then I'll be successful. And again, it's not about the plan or the strategy, it's the intention behind the plan or strategy that is limiting. You know, so if you need to have a plan in order to feel in control, then that's a problem. That is the limiting problem. Other things are lack of boundaries, of course, not knowing where you end and another person begins. Let me just have a look at some of my notes. Over-reliance on logic and reasoning to make decisions. You know, when you think about, if you are writing pros and cons before you make a decision, you are sourcing such a tiny amount of data, like the finite data that you have in your brain when you are using logic and reasoning to make a decision. Whereas when you can make a decision from bliss, from alignment, when you can make a decision from the version of you that is the future version of you, like step into becoming her and then make that decision, that is an absolute game changer. You'll never fear making a decision again. You'll never feel frozen because you're contemplating everything you might lose instead of looking at all that you might gain. Another one, a big one, is taking responsibility for other people's emotions. So this has some connection with, of course, people pleasing, but this can go to all other levels, much deeper levels, where you feel responsible for how other people feel. And you will always feel helpless when you have that burden upon you, that you've somehow taken on that burden as a child and it's now playing out in your adult life. And it is, again, completely limiting. All of these lend themselves to feeling not safe to fully express yourself. So that really kind of is the work I'm doing now when my clients have been with me for a while, and they've, you know, it was all about expert positioning, the marketing side of things. And when they nailed that and the clients are coming in and it's all feeling very, you know, the business is great, then there's always that plateau, that upper limit. And what always presents are these, I call them like the protective paradigms. These always show up as kind of the next level of like, this is what I need to deal with in order to break through that upper limit, expand the paradigm, and really create the next level of success. And that requires honoring all aspects of you. It's not all business, like if I can't do anything else. It's about honoring every aspect of you, nurturing yourself. So, as I said, that really enriching and feeling that aliveness that you feel when you are honoring all those aspects of yourself. So this was a bit longer than I expected, but however, this is just, I just really wanted to share this because it's been exciting. And literally, like, the download of clarity came in like a whoosh. It was instantaneous, and that was just allowing it to be received by me. So if any of this resonates, then watch this space, but also know that it's safe for you to feel into that unknown. It's not a bad place. It's a really powerful and positive place. You just have to lean into it and not be freaked out by it. Okay, thank you for watching. Sending you loads of love, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye for now.